And going live, going live, going live, going live, going live. Okay. We are apparently live. This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome to tonight's special presentation broadcast here on Dolynny TV. As we actually have live, color, and commentary for you this evening as the Oilers lead 1-0 late into the first period, 4:40 to go here in this first period of play. And this is exactly what I feared, my friend. We are going to have a whole bunch of lag on the stream. That is where I will welcome in the color man for tonight's broadcast, Mr. Gillies TV himself. The Oilers looking to work out of their own zone. Obviously, I think I got to fill you in on that Darnell Nurse goal, unless you saw a replay of it. What did you see there from Darnell Nurse streaking down the middle on that Warren Fogle pass?
It was a great pass by Warren Fogle, nicer shot by Darnell Nurse, but that third line has been playing really well for the Edmonton Oilers, Puljujarvi, McLeod, and Fogle. And that's what the Oilers need. They don't need Nuge on that third line. They need Nuge in the top six, and McLeod has came in and filled that hole pretty well.
Well, and if I could figure out the leg, we just missed one heck of an opportunity in the St. Louis end for the Oilers. They were absolutely rolling around there, demolishing in the St. Louis end. It was almost, of course, Zach Hyman putting home a pretty big chance to score a goal. And, of course, every time I pan tabs here, we lose you. So there we go. And work that in there. And for some reason, that does not want to stay there. So this is, again, a test, as I said. So we're trying to working a whole bunch of stuff all at once here on Dolynny TV this evening, and we will work it in as we get going. We were supposed to be live at the start of the first period intermission, so apologies if the stream to begin with is a little choppy. Hey, when you're testing out new tech, things get a little choppy as you go along. So let's see. Oh, there we go. What I can figure out here, close some tabs, I think is going to be the big part. And then, there we go. Let's get you back in there. And it looks like for the time being, I've solved the issue. Stuart Skinner turning the side of shot, 3:34 to go here in this first period of play. And I think the only thing I can do to really make this any less choppy is to lessen the stream quality that I am watching on Sportsnet. So let's go figure that one out, and let's get low quality on there if I can. And is that going to do it? I'm 21 seconds behind, by the way, so I gotta go to live. And hold on. We're gonna figure this out. There we go. So the Oilers off the face-off win outside of their own zone, turned it over to the St. Louis Blues. In steps Falk. Falk's gonna fire that shot off the stick of a defender in front for the Oilers. And this has been a big key part for the Oilers, is kind of clogging up the middle of front of the net lately, trying to avoid a little bit of traffic coming to the net and kind of take away the sight lines for the shooters. I know Gillies, we've had a little bit of an issue here earlier this season with Jack Campbell in net, where if the Oilers allow a long-range shot, they end up allowing a goal on the same shot. So, kind of your thoughts on, as we regroup behind the Blues net here, what the Oilers got to do to stop allowing those long-distance shots to go in.
Just cover your points. We just cover your man. That's all it came down to. Like, we went to the home opener there that it wasn't a long shot, but that Pedersen goal, no one took him after his initial shot. It was him versus Campbell. And as a goalie, you can't move backwards in your net. Like, Campbell had no chance to save that on Pedersen. And it's just cover your guys in front of the net. That's what's haunted a couple of our losses this year, is the defensive coverage wasn't there.
So here's coming back the other way into the Oilers zone with a $1:54 to go here in this first period of play. The Blues move it down deep below the Oilers goal line. Draisaitl will receive it off the boards from Nurse. Nurse will see Draisaitl try to cut to the middle of the ice. That'll be met there by Yamamoto. Yamamoto's going to survey for options, head back to Darnell Nurse in his own zone. $1:37 to go in this first period. 12-6 the shots on goal for the Oilers. Talk about starting slow all you want. This is a really prove-it game on the road for the Oilers against a team they couldn't score against a few nights ago, and they've already done that here tonight in this first period. Up 1-0 as you see on the scoreboard on the top of your chart here. This one fired in by Nugent Hopkins. Binnington comes out to play at Krug. We'll see this one batted around by Falk. And now cut off by Nuge. Nuge will try and leave it for McDavid, who's in a battle there against Krug. He'll go to Falk. and that's quite a weird pairing. You know, those two players having great careers elsewhere before coming to St. Louis and now forming a tandem on the blue line for the St. Louis Blues. So this one's stepping in, Robert Thomas dancing, cutting, and the Oilers defense cuts him off and doesn't allow him to take it all the way to the house against Stuart Skinner. Evan Bouchard with the active stick in the far side corner in the Oilers end, able to cut it off there. Darnell Nurse comes in, steps in, and is able to walk around his man. That allows Evan Bouchard to fire up the McDavid Jets back down the other way across the Blues line. He's cutting, looking fans on the shot, and Falk will strip his pocket. 38 seconds to go here in this first period of play, and the Oilers turn back at their own blue line. Darnell Nurse now content to fire it in, and that's one thing you like to see, McDavid firing it up, eh?
Yeah, love to see it. And on that Kyrie goal, Darnell Nurse giving it up there, as he can't be trying to throw blind passes in his neutral zone or in his defensive zone. Sorry. I know a lot of people are, you know, don't like that he's making $9+ million a year. It's what it is. We have to deal with it. But you're not just paying for his defensive game, as he has scored this game. He's more of an offensive defenseman. That's a tough guy than he is a defensive defenseman, and he needs to, during the off seasons, pick up on his defensive game.
Well, I think to this degree this season we've kind of seen him battle it back a little bit and kind of be a lot more. I think they mentioned it on Monday Night Hockey there before the game against the Pens, is he's standing up a lot more in the defensive zone, right? Not necessarily eliminating himself down on the ground on his stomach or both knees. He's standing up, kind of being a little bit more mobile in front of the net in the defensive end, and that's really allowing him to step up that defensive game that he should and is working on as the season goes along. However, biggest part right now when you look at it is how slow can the progress be to really justify that 9.25.
Well, exactly. And I thought about this before we went on stream about Darnell Nurse, because I know somewhere in the comments it's going to be Nurse again, Nurse this, Nurse that. Nurse is not yet, or I don't know if he will be an elite defense or a actual elite defenseman like a Cale Makar, a Victor Hedman. He is more like the younger version of Erik Karlsson, where he has that offensive game, defense slacked, and that's what a lot of fans jumped on Erik Karlsson when he went to San Jose, was the fact his defensive numbers weren't that great.
Right. Okay, I'm just going to try and see if this is going to bring you back on the live stream. See, we seem to lose you every time I flip to my YouTube tab to check how the stream's going. So give me a sec here. I'm going to see what we can't do to figure that out. So we need to figure that going here, and I just need to pop out the chat so as we can at least have the chat going. Sorry folks, like we said, this is a new test, new thing completely here today on Dolynny TV that we're trying to get done for you. So let me pop up the chat here, and there we go. We are good to go. That's going to rock and roll. Alright, no clue if the stream's actually live on Dolynny TV right now. We're not going to have an easy way to tell that, but we do have the stream chat available. So folks, if you want to drop in and chat with us, that'd be greatly appreciated. It's 1-0 for the Oilers after the first period of play. 12-6 the shots for the Oilers. I don't want to mess around with screen grabs too many more times, so we're not going to get there. Corey came in with the first comment of the stream saying the Oilers are buzzing today, and I think based on what you and I both saw in that first period, the Oilers most definitely are on it today so far. And then we had a moderator by the name of Josh come into the stream and say, let's go tear it up, boys. I think you get where I'm going with that one just as well. And
Yep.
Doug, welcome in. You're talking about streaming sites. I'm not going to worry too much about that because until I start seeing 150 people in my live stream at once, it means nothing to me. And secondary to that, Robert, welcome in. As first goal, JP pass was not great. Fogle did a good job corralling it and getting behind the net and getting it to Nurse, who got a dribbler past the line for our lead. That is how we got to 1-0. It was JP, Fogle, Nurse in front on the snapshot one-timer, back of the net. Now, secondary to this, I guess the big question is, you just had another period where Stuart Skinner posted 6 saves on 6 shots. How much of an impact do you really believe Skinner's going to have this season for the Oilers down the stretch?
I think Skinner can easily give you 30, 40 games this year. He showed in Bakersfield what he's capable of last season, and he is our future goalie. I believe in 2 years, we are going to have the same situation Vancouver did with Luongo and Snyder, and then Markstrom got into that, and then same with Demko, that we're going to have that problem with Campbell and Skinner is who is actually the number one in a few years. And right now, watching the play of both, Campbell's a great goalie, but Stuart Skinner has picked up from that ugly first win he had against Ottawa in the bubble, where, 5 goals, I believe it was, he let in, to now.
In an 8-5 win. That's even the worst
Yeah.
part.
And to now, he has improved drastically. And could it be the whole Mike Smith helping him out? It could be.
Well, and that's where I really think it's a big thing for the Oilers is I think obviously to go into the season the way they did, right, with Skinner and Campbell, that was a big vote of confidence in Stuart Skinner to begin with. Is it would have been very easy. You're losing two veteran goalies while we need to get a veteran backup just in case Skinner's not ready to go. But I think
Yeah.
to the degree Skinner last season kind of had that 13 games where, right, he had the shutout, he had everything kind of work together there for him last year, and then all of a sudden only a 6-6 record, but still a solid showing. Now you've got him in a backup role, and so far he's your best goalie despite not having a win.
Sorry, I had to shut the door there. Yeah, it's true. We've seen the emergence. He had that really good game against, I believe it was Detroit last year. Then he played the Buffalo Sabres. Two huge games. We saw him play last year. Was it against San Jose he played
That was
when
the
we went?
shutout game, yeah.
Yeah, and he looks stellar. And he's emerged to be this guy that the Oilers should look forward to having for the next 10, 15 years easily.
Well, and that's the big part for the Oilers is this is an actual home developed, homegrown goaltender that you can keep around for as long as you want with no pressure if he keeps performing this way.
Well, exactly. And like one of the comments just said, well, from Robert, while I want Stu to do a great job for us, part of me also worries how much he'll cost. We're not at that road. If for sure his next contract's going to be a bit more than what he's making now, but like I said, Campbell's only here for 5 years. If you can get Stuart Skinner on a bridge deal to the end of Jack Campbell's tenure, where the Oilers might not re-sign him, might re-sign him, we don't know. That's still 5 years away.
Yeah.
And the cost is there for Stuart Skinner after that.
And that's the big part for the Oilers too is how much does Skinner develop this year, right? Does Skinner steal the job? And that's kind of what the question was how much how much an impact will Stuart Skinner have this year? Because if he has a huge impact and he's your goalie that leads you to the Stanley Cup, that's your Demko, Markstrom, Schneider, Luongo situation in Vancouver all over again going into the offseason. You've got two goalies that have great seasons. You got one that just won you a Stanley Cup, one that's costing you a ton of money, and one that needs a contract.
Well, exactly. And, it really depends on how much Stuart Skinner actually plays this year. Does Skinner play 30 plus games or does he only play 20? Where, like Calgary, Daryl Sutters came out and said Vladar's getting 1 game a week, no matter
Which
what.
which in an NHL schedule does equal out to that 22, 23 starts in a season.
Yeah.
Well,
So if he gets more than 30 and he posts, say he gets 30 starts and posts a 16 and 14 record, well, it's not going to be the same as if he posts a 20 and 10 record.
20 and 10, absolutely. That's the big part for the Oilers is how much he actually does because we're really loving what we've got for the Oilers right now in Stuart Skinner. But when that all changes in a week, 2 weeks, we all know how fickle things can be with the Oilers, right? Is love me today, hate me tomorrow. So if things are going swimmingly for the first week and a half of the season, is that going to be the case after, I guess, 2 weeks now? Is that going to be the case next month?
It could be. We don't know. We have to get to that point. But on another question too, that I've seen all over the internet a bit is what happens if Jack Campbell gets injured. Right now, we see the confidence Stuart Skinner has. He has the confidence to be a number one goalie. He took that jump in Bakersfield under Woodcroft. He did it last season when Woodcroft came up here. They have faith in Stuart Skinner, and like you said, he's homegrown. We didn't need to trade for him.
So I'm just going to quickly go through a bunch of comments. Joseph, welcome in. First, Doug's comment, because I have an update that I don't have an update. No update on Holloway as far as I know. Just kind of taking it day by day, and I assume he'll be sent down as soon as the Oilers have him fully healed, and probably bring up James Hamlin. That's kind of my theory. And then secondary to that, we go to Reaper's comment here about Hyman becoming the MVP. So this is another situation where the Oilers shuffle the lines and finally go with having Zach Hyman on the top line, having Ryan Nugent-Hopkins reunited with Connor McDavid, but this time with a top tier winger in the NHL, right? Like Zach Hyman is what you dream of to have in your top six as a right winger. So I guess just a quick thought on what Zach Hyman brings to the McDavid line as opposed to Yes Puljujärvi, Kyler Yamamoto, or anyone else that the Oilers have thrown up there in the past 5-10 years.
Well, don't get me wrong. Puljujärvi and Yamamoto are great players. When it comes to the physical aspect, the one thing that Hyman sets away from those guys is his ability to keep hold of the puck. Yes, Puljujärvi can grab it. Yamamoto can grab it. But like this game against St. Louis and last game against St. Louis, we saw Parenko on Yamamoto, and Yamamoto, if he didn't pass it off in time, lost it to Parenko. Due to the size, yes. But Hyman's going against those exact same defenders and keeping the puck and control the puck for longer periods of time to give the other players chances to get open and not turning it over as quickly. Hyman has been one of the best additions that Holland has done. He brought that physical aspect, scoring aspect. He was excited to come to Edmonton, and I know a lot of Toronto fans go, oh, Edmonton's the Toronto 2.0. No, we are not Toronto 2.0. We can get past the first round of the playoffs, but they wanted to come here to a different culture than what Toronto was.
So now you got Zach Hyman right in that top line role. He wants to be here, same with Jack Campbell, and just guys that want to win in Edmonton. That's the big part, right? They're coming here to win. They believe this is the place to do it. How much is Zach Hyman's ability to keep the puck, physicality, speed, finishing ability, passing ability, kind of an addition to that Oilers top line based on what we've seen on the power play because of just the fact he can do it all, kind of the total package? And how much does that kind of take the burden off McDavid and realistically take the eyeballs off of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins?
Well, it brings a whole different aspect too. For the longest time, Edmonton reporters were saying we had a 1A, 1B line just because McDavid and Draisaitl were on line 1, line 2.
Yeah.
Well, for the longest time, we didn't have wingers. Yeah, Pat Maroon was good for a bit. Lucic didn't work out. You look at all the guys we had in our top six, since 2015, 16, 17, compared to now, Edmonton is a legit contender for the playoffs now with our top six.
All right. Oh, hold on. I saw your screen glitch out and my screen glitched out on the live stream. Live stream sports break in progress. This is the stupidest part. I think you're watching on actual cable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the stupid part here is watching on Sportsnet now nowadays. They've got this like they'll run you 2 commercials and then it's like commercial break in progress. You're spending money watching us, so we're going to save you from 2 ads a night. So brutal. Yes.
Going back to the whole top six, you even look at the top 9.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, we had Slepyshev, Lander, Kajula. Now look who we have. Our top 9 has upgraded so much compared to then. Our goaltending, I would say, has upgraded a lot. We're not going out getting those older guys like Habibulin, Brizgalov, those guys. Edmonton has upgraded. Yes, our defense still remains an issue, but our if you rank Edmonton's top 9, even their top 4 group, it's top 10 easily in the NHL. Now, yes, because of that, our defense goes down to they're mid pack. They're not the worst out there, but they're
No,
not the best.
yeah, that's 100%. The defense to be successful isn't going to be successful because they're elite defensemen. They got to be successful because, as everyone tries to keep pointing out, is they buy into Dave Manson's system. Is they got to try and figure out how to play the best defensive game they're capable of within a structure if they want a chance to win.
Yeah, gonna put that on hold as you're probably watching it now. That replay of the Darnell Nurse goal might have been tipped by Pugliarvi.
And that's what Robert was saying there in the comment there. Sportsnet now has JP getting credit for the goal. Light me up if Jesse Pugliarvi scored a goal. And right here, I think there's a tip there. I think there's a tip.
Yeah.
I think the man Jesse Pugliarvi has just scored himself a goal, first one of the season. That'll suck. He takes his first assist of the season off the board and changes it for a goal, but that's all right. All right. And that's, I think here's a good comment. The best defense is a wicked offense.
Defense does win you championships.
I mean, that's for the Oilers though. If you can go out there and manufacture just nonstop offense like we saw in that game against Pittsburgh, I don't know why you wouldn't try and do that as much and as often as you could. But problem is, other teams can and will shut you down at certain times when it comes to that. And I think that's
Yeah.
the only problem with that whole thought. Here we go. Let me just refresh this, see what we got going here. Okay, I got refresh, we're good. And the big part here is when you talk about the defense is obviously I don't think you or I would say we don't need an upgrade at the trade deadline. I think we'd both agree somebody's got to come in similar to what Brett Kulak did, or we may have issues.
Well, I was just gonna say if you didn't say Kulak's name, a guy like Kulak who comes in, does what he's asked. Ken Holland's tried it a couple times with Dmitry Kulikov and other guys. Kulak's the only one that stuck around, stuck it out, and actually did something after the trade deadline.
True.
And if we could find another Brett Kulak somewhere, that's great. But I know from watching the other games, it's been a topic that Brett Kulak was a third line pairing last year. Now he's a second line D man. And how does he adjust to playing more minutes every night? It's going to be different to see him playing, saying 18 minutes a night instead of 14.
Right.
How is he going to adjust to that?
Okay. And that's the question with the Oilers is when they kind of mess around with this defense here in the next, what do you got? You got Broberg will be eventually healthy. We know he's injured down on the farm. You know that Ryan Murray is supposed to be the seventh defenseman. You know Marcus Niemelainen is developing game by game. And just when you start interchanging Niemelainen and Broberg along the way, at what point do you actually kind of sit here and figure out this who we have to trade for and this when we have to trade for him?
Well, exactly. And I know a lot of people are hit and miss on Tyson Barrie, but I've been a huge fan of Niemelainen's since he got called up last season. He brings that physical element that our D needs in the bottom pairing or even the second line eventually, where Darnell Nurse doesn't have to take half of that load with him. If we can get Niemelainen to play, I'm not saying exactly like Darnell Nurse, but that one guy that, hey, instead of Darnell Nurse, we're throwing you out there. Save Darnell Nurse some energy for when the crucial times come. kind of like a Chris Russell who
Yep.
was out there blocking shots, putting his body in the way of everything just so other guys didn't have to do it.
All right, well, we're back to play. The second period underway. The Oilers starting out of their own zone after the Blues tried to hem them in the first 13 seconds of the period. Stuart Skinner, though, on the return dump by the Blues, plays it around the boards. He's got it up and out. It'll be down the ice, and that will be carried ahead by Drysdale, who's got a 2-on-1 developing, and Evander Kane eats the glove of Binnington in his face. I think it's Binnington in net for the Blues. That's how much I've had time to pay attention to tonight. Unfortunately, had to eat supper in the first. If I wanted to do tonight's live stream, the Oilers, the Blues, back underway, 19:22 to go in this second period. Darnell Nurse will regroup in his own zone, look to work this one out. He's got Cody Ceci wide. They're going to really slow it down. The Blues just kind of standing in spots, making it hard to generate anything for the Oilers. There comes Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, swing man in the defensive alignment. He's going to tip it up off the stick of Zach Hyman. Goes right onto a Blues stick, back the other way. They come in a split second shot fired, save, turned away by the blocker of Stuart Skinner, now turned back to the blue line. The Blues again fire the shot. Saved by Skinner, scramble in the crease. He's down on top of the puck, and we will have a whistle there. And that's just, again, like we talk often about the Oilers having to clear the puck out of their zone clean. I think a big thing, too, is in that instance, the Oilers don't quite cleanly get it in the offensive zone on what would be a dump, more or less, by Hyman, and that allows the Blues to come back the other way. But, I mean, make of it what you will, of Binnington sucker punching Kane right under the visor on the attempt on the 2-on-1. I'm sure you just saw that.
What is with the goalies and taking down Oilers players the last few games?
That has been a theme. Puljujärvi off the face-off win for the Oilers. He's got it up to Foegele. This line's already got a goal tonight, as Foegele and Puljujärvi hooked up with Darnell Nurse for Puljujärvi's first of the season on a tip in front of the net on the Darnell Nurse shot. Oilers lift it in. It's going to be a big hit opportunity for Puljujärvi. He misses just wide, but then throws the hit on Leddy, and now he's got another chance and will brush off another man there. And the Oilers keep crashing and banging along the end boards. There's Puljujärvi throwing about his third hit, modern NHL hit of this shift, more or less. And now Puljujärvi has it in the near side corner. He's going to leave it there for McLeod, who gets it over to Foegele. Foegele can't feed it through the skates of Leddy, and the Oilers will see it turned over to the St. Louis Blues. Not before, yes, Puljujärvi's still out there working his man in Nick Leddy. That was a tough shift if you're Nick Leddy and the St. Louis Blues against Jesse Puljujärvi on that one. And yes, Puljujärvi touched that puck once.
Yeah. And like I said, he's no Zach Hyman, but he's starting to get in the dirty areas. I know it's been a rocky start with him in Edmonton, but he's picked up his game. I think he's really emerged under Jay Woodcroft.
Well, here we go, as it'll be Nugent-Hopkins lining up against Robert Thomas in the face-off dot. Thomas wins it back to Falk. Falk's got all kinds of time to decide what he's going to do. He fires it all the way down to Stuart Skinner, makes the save. 17:49 to go, and this is the exciting part here for the Oilers, is I think the more and more you get a look at Stuart Skinner's mask, the more and more you get excited for the reverse retros coming up right away. I think November 15th we get our first look against the LA Kings, I believe. Shot coming from the point, save again by Skinner. So I guess we haven't really talked about those on Dolynny TV lately. What are your thoughts on those?
You're talking about the McFarlane ones?
Oh, yeah.
I don't really like them.
That is completely fine.
I'm a huge fan of the other one, like the old school ones, or the no orange, back old school days. Those were the jerseys that we made the Stanley Cup in, right?
Absolutely.
But it is what it is.
All right. Oof. Bush just misses McDavid with what would have been a breakaway pass for a 2-on-1 with Hyman flanking, but right on cue, there's Hyman stealing a puck. Briefly got it into Blues possession almost immediately after grabbing it. Tipped down the ice by Falk, and here's Stuart Skinner out to play this puck. And after what was a good first period of the Oilers, the shot's now 5-0, 3 minutes into the period for the Blues. But how about that? Right on cue, Leon Draisaitl drives the net and puts it onto the pads of Jordan Binnington. And with 17:07 to go, the Oilers get their first shot of the period. Whew, my goodness, what a hockey game this one's been. I mean, the Oilers still leading 1-0, pretty much got that goal pretty early into the game, And they're still out there leading the way here in this second period. I think that's a big credit to just the Oilers making it easy on Stuart Skinner.
Yeah, for sure. They're boxing their guys out. A lot of the shots right now from St. Louis have been outside boards, not down the middle. A couple of them have been in the slot, but Stuart Skinner's been up to the task.
Here's a shot from Cece. He's going to fire it into the corner. Regrouped there by the Oilers on the forecheck. And this has been one thing we've noticed ever since that St. Louis game, and pretty much maybe even a game or the Carolina game, in fact, is just the Oilers being in on the forecheck, being pests in the offensive zone, and just spending those extra 20, 30-second shifts without the puck in the offensive zone, but not getting burned back the other way, because that's always what the Oilers' MO used to be, is spend a really good forechecking shift in the offensive zone. D-man pinches, gets burnt, 2-on-1 back the other way, back of the net. As it's carried across the line by the Oilers, bobbled down to Jordan Binnington, who just kind of weeble-wobbles it to his defenseman. 16:20 to go. McLeod off the ice. Yamamoto and Draisaitl with Kane out there now. They back up the ice. And that'll be worked there by the Oilers into the boards where the Blues have it in their own zone. And now here's a chance flipped out by somebody. I don't know who flipped that puck the way it did, but it will be an icing call against the Oilers with 15:59 to go in this second period. I'm just going to take a second to check the thing here, and let's just go see this. Essentially, Robert's just commentarying along with us.
That's fine with me.
That works for me. As here we go, back the other way. 15:54 to go in this second period. The Oilers are going to work down in the blue zone. The Blues are going to fire it back the other way into the neutral ice area. Well, not didn't last long. They carry it in, but look at that again. A good backtrack there by the Oilers. Back checking, and that'll lead to Leon Draisaitl coming back the other way. Kane, Draisaitl misses wide on the shot. That one sucks to see, and I think that's been a big missing key in the Oilers game this season, is Draisaitl not finishing that short side one-timer. I think that's been a huge miss for the Oilers so far through 6 games, and now 7.5 here complete in St. Louis.
Well, he started off like this last year too. Draisaitl always takes a few games to get his feet under. It's not like the other preseasons where your top end players played 5 preseason games, right? So he's still getting his feet wet, and the passing's way better than the start of the season.
Oh, by a mile. And here, how about this? Stretch pass for the Oilers, shot fired. Binnington the save. Goes to the near side point, and it's going to be fired across. The Oilers are offside here. They touch up. 14:47 to go in the second period. Blues work it down the ice. Here we go. Chance opportunity in by Mikkola. He gets it across the Oilers' blue line. Turn back there. And the Oilers will carry on in. Connor McDavid's got the puck. Wearing the C, not looking worse for wear. After his injury against the Pittsburgh Penguins the other night, the Blues turn it over in their own zone briefly. Nugent Hopkins in on the forecheck. He got it down to McDavid. Now McDavid back to the point. Chance opportunity here for Bouchard. He's going to go across to Nurse. Shot coming in from the sharp angle. Turned aside by Binnington. And the Oilers will see the zone cleared by the Blues all the way down. Rolling puck. And they call that icing before it even crosses the red line. That is the goal line in the Oilers' end. That was a little risky, but I get it. The Oilers kind of skating back a little slow on that, so they were expecting it to be called anyway. But this was a good look here from Draisaitl. And just, what do you think it's going to take for Draisaitl to start hammering that home?
Just keep shooting. Eventually they'll go in. You keep shooting. Don't get too passive like we are known for him to do. Take the shots. Even McDavid's shooting a lot more than he would have in past seasons.
And, I mean, we're scoring goals. It's not like, obviously, the Buffalo game we didn't score a ton, and the Blues game the other night we didn't score a ton. But other than that, we're scoring goals. We're out there. We're not playing 2-1 hockey, 1-2 hockey. We're playing a lot of big games, and the Oilers' offense getting goals. I think we've had, 6 goals twice and 5 goals once in 3 games? You're already talking right there. 17 goals in 3 games, you're talking almost 3 goals per game just based on 3 games, and 6 total. Oilers across the blue line, though, here. Hyman's going to fire a shot off the stick of Mikkola. It's going to go to McDavid on the far side wing, and he's going to fire a shot. His Nurse tipped up and over top of the net by Nuge, and these moving boards really screw with the guy's mind. But another chance here, and it's going to be Nurse going off to McDavid, and here we go. The Oilers really working it again. It's Binnington without his stick. Chance here for Nurse. Tips it up and over top of the net. And the Oilers continue possession in the Blues' end. Down to Hyman this time. Now McDavid picks it up behind the net. He's got all kinds of turnaround. Bouchard just a shot off the shoulder. And now it looks like Devin Shore's out there for the Oilers. And the Oilers getting line changes in the offensive end. Shades of that New York Rangers game where McDavid went 4-on-1. But now the Blues are able to clear the zone, and back the other way they come after insane pressure from the Oilers. Binnington without his stick. And really that's another key area where the Oilers have picked it up this season, is just realizing when the time to turn it on is.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we go. It's fired across, and Darnell Nurse will go battle his man in the far side boards. It'll be worked there by the Blues, and they've got possession. Short side shot, fired, goes rebound through the crease, and the Oilers able to clear it back to the blue line, and onto the stick of Bouchard. It's out of the zone. Ryan McLeod carries it across. He's got Puljujärvi and Devin Shore with him. This Ryan McLeod firing around the boards near side now. That's Ceci coming on with the puck. He couldn't get it going, so back the other way. Fogle defending the... that's Kulak. All kinds of turnaround with my numbers here. 12:03 to go, and it's, how about this, Draisaitl on his backhand, rushing it to Binnington. There's a little bit of lag on my stream just due to having the live stream going and everything else that's streaming at once. But Cody Ceci now with it at the blue line for the Oilers. It's going to go back, down, and around. My goodness, here's a chance for the Blues to bust out back the other way. 3-on-3. They're going to dump it in after a long shift. And this is a period where, yeah, the Blues, I guess, have had 7 shots. The Oilers only 2 so far, but doesn't really seem like there's been a ton of high quality looks that have hit the net.
Yeah, like I said, for the Blues, Edmonton's keeping them to the outside. It's usually other teams keeping Edmonton to the outside, but Edmonton has picked up their let them be outside, don't chase them as much, stay in that formation, and let them have to beat your goaltender. And that's been helping the Oilers in their wins this year. When they get away from that, we've seen what happens.
That's exactly. You start allowing those high danger chances. I think, what are they? High danger HDCs or whatever they are on the graphs and stuff you see for the advanced analytics. Jack Campbell right now working on one of the worst averages on those kind of opportunities against, because simply put, the Oilers are allowing too many. Obviously, you can save as many as you want, but if a ton are still going in, you're still allowing a ton of goals, right? So that's the tough problem for Jack Campbell early on in the season. But the Oilers going to the power play here now with Leon Draisaitl tripped, and the Oilers will head to the power play after we have this whistle and a break in the action. But yeah, that's just it, right? Stop allowing the high danger chances, and you stop allowing a ton of goals against, especially what do we not have in net now? Right?
We don't have 1-goal wonder in Koskinen. First shot going in, that really helps. You know, a goalie that knows how to make a glove save. And yes, it was probably nice for the defense to have a guy like Mike Smith who comes out of the net, plays the puck. You're not getting that with Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner as much as you did. So it's going to change your game plan up a bit in a sense. But they still come out time to time, and you just got to deal with it if you're a Oilers defenseman.
That's just it. You know what? The goaltenders are working a lot better this year. I mean, throw in Smith and Koskinen into the situations we've had this year. I love Smith for what he did in the playoffs. Wish he could have just capped it off and won us the Stanley Cup. But do you really think that Smith and Koskinen would fare much better than what we have in Campbell and Skinner to start this season so far?
No, I really don't. And, you know, Smith did great last year. Don't get me wrong. Of course, it was a lot of injuries, but I think the game was getting too fast for him. and that was starting to cause a lot of the injuries sliding across. It wasn't back when he was 25 in net where it was, oh, here's a shot. No, there's a lot more passing now, a lot more movement for goalies.
Well, here we go. The Oilers now in on the power play, trying to keep things going in the offensive zone. Leon Draisaitl with a smart tip there to Nuge. Barry's reloading, and Draisaitl will just carry this one up through the middle, and he will dump off to McDavid with a head of steam. McDavid across the blue line. He's got it dumped off to Nuge or Draisaitl. I can't really tell. And instead it'll be the Blues turning it back, and here's Hyman hustling back to prevent the 2-on-1. Shot from O'Reilly, turned aside. Blues regain possession. They just dump it into the far side corner, and the Oilers a $1.12 with remaining on this power play, really with nothing to prove for it so far, as Draisaitl will carry this one up and across through into the middle. He's going 4-on-1. I thought he was going to carry that through. Why not? He had a lane there, but now Tyson Barrie back at his own blue line. He's going to turn around, and now the Oilers carried across the blue line with some confidence this time. Nuge back to Barrie. It's going to be dumped around the boards to Draisaitl on the near side wing. Draisaitl pushed over there. Just a little dipsy doodle of the skate blade, and he ends up going down. Now back the other way. Leon Draisaitl's been out there for 2 minutes so far. Oilers get a line change on the back end, and it's Evan Bouchard now quarterbacking this power play. He's going to fire the shot. Shot hits somebody in front, and the Oilers regroup the puck, and they've been kept to that left side of the ice where they haven't really been effective so far. Draisaitl fires a shot off the skates, and now McDavid reload after the Bouchard pass. Rebound in front. Binnington down, and man, oh man, the puck's still alive in there somewhere, and it goes out into the corner. And Jack Michaels is freaking out on my TV screen. I do not even know if I could accurately describe just what a mess that was in front of the Blues net. And here's a chance tipped in front, and Hyman can't hit the net. So now the Oilers not on the power play out there. Tired leg shot, slide of the net, blocked in front by the shot of Hyman. And now here's a chance across again. Blues diving all over the place. Bouchard hammers a shot near side. Leon Draisaitl's been out there for 3 straight minutes. He's going to go straight across and look for a line change if he can. He's going to wire a chance here, one-timer, and instead bail on a shot block. And now he's got to get back. He's going to lean off the stick here a little bit. Bouchard with shot block on Justin Falk. And my goodness, that was one heck of a crazy last $1.12 plus on the Oilers power play in front of that Blues net. Darnell Nurse now over there. Leon Draisaitl still on the ice. This is going to be a 4-minute shift by the time he gets off here, as the Oilers are still hemmed in their own zone. The Blues in front, tip it back, perfect onto the stick of Parayko. Now Stuart Skinner without his stick. I don't know where it is, as he's lost that, and the Oilers are going to clear the zone. And it looks like finally it'll be Leon Draisaitl able to... He's still out there. Draisaitl's still out there. The Tony Esposito shift here back in the 70s. Shot saved by Skinner. The Oilers just looking for any face-off they can get. And here's a chance across again. The Blues stumble on this puck, and it's going to be taken down the ice by the Blues back into the Oilers kind of nitty-gritty here as they go back to the blue line of the Oilers zone now. Tipped back around. And here's Bouchard with Puljujärvi and Nurse. And there we go. Reconnection successful. We're back. Sorry, folks. A little momentary lag there. And what was that? That Leon Draisaitl shift was something else.
Did you see Nuge and Bouchard were still out there too?
Oh my goodness. Like, Draisaitl gets tripped to start the power play, like to get the power play, plays the full power play, and then plays another 2 minutes after that. Just unreal seeing a guy play out there for 5 straight minutes in the modern NHL, but we got to notice it. And to your credit, yes, Nuge and Bouch were also out there for an extended period. And now the Oilers coming back the other way, looking for a scoring chance. Kane couldn't bite it on the backhand pass. Blues regain. Letty moves it out to the high point in the Blues zone. They're turned back on a back check by the Oilers, kind of regrouping, but also forechecking at the same time. Now another chance goes over the stick of Evander Kane. And CC will regroup at his own blue line, where he'll flip it ahead to Kailer Yamamoto, and now to Derek Ryan, near side boards in the zone. Here's a shot drifted wide by Kailer Yamamoto, now working with Devon Shore and Derek Ryan. So a guy that didn't see much ice time in the past 5 minutes, now out there with the fourth line guys, quote unquote. And here's a chance now for Shore to get it back to the point. D to D in the Blues zone by the Oilers, and it'll be snagged by Binnington. And I think the Oilers have had a pretty strong response here since this little, what do you want to say, hour they spent in their defensive zone with Leon Draisaitl out there as much as he was.
Yeah, Stuart Skinner kept them in that. There were opportunities for them to bolt a lot of guys to clear it. Just didn't happen. But you're gonna have those kind of pressures game to game, and the best way to do it is just get through it, limit the shots on net, have your goalie clear the front of the net, have your goalie have a clean look, especially if he doesn't have a stick.
That's the big part for sure, having the goalie be able to see it. And I don't even know, did you see where Skinner's stick was on the ice?
It was in the corner.
Oh, okay. I could not find it for the life of me, keeping up with where the puck was going to, but that's one of those things. I mean, we watched Binnington lose his stick 5 minutes ago, and then all of a sudden Skinner loses his stick, and both of them just pressured by just craziness in front of their nets. And I think they showed the replay of Binnington how close it was to sliding under his butt. Had he not been sitting on his butt, it wouldn't have even really been that dangerous, or possibly it would have been totally dangerous and ended up in the back of the net.
Well, exactly, and also for the Oilers power play there, the last two power plays for them. Yeah, they didn't score, but both times they hemmed that defense in for at least a minute and a half, and they couldn't get off the ice because of it. Keep up that pressure; it's going to tire down those guys. And Ryan O'Reilly is the top two-line guy for them, and he was on the ice for a majority of that first and second power play the Oilers had.
Well, and that's the big thing for them, right? Is like the Oilers, if you want to be a third period team, there's two really good keys to winning in the third period. Like you're saying, tired out their top guys in the first two periods, have them in their own zone, and then number two, go into the third period with a lead. And both are kind of looking to be something we could do here with 6:12 to go in this second period. But this one almost exact same shades of the game prior against the Blues, where it's an early goal for one team, and then you play the rest of the game at 1-0. And that's kind of where we're
Hey,
sitting so far.
what did I say when this started? I had Binghamton on my fantasy. I want a 1-0 win by the Oilers. And we are almost into the third period. It's 1-0 Oilers.
Well, and an empty netter doesn't hurt your chances, but that one is offside at the Blues line. The Oilers were just about there, and they just moved just a step too quick at the blue line. I think, too, the Oilers have the skip ads on their helmets. Fan or not?
Not really a fan, but it's better than on the jerseys.
And there we go. That's, I think, too, the Oilers also not wearing the ads on their helmets at home. I think that's a big get too for fans watching at home, is they get to watch their Oilers jersey ad, helmet ad free. And then on the road, I mean, right, it's not like the helmet decals are really that much of an aesthetic. Oh, hold on, the Oilers loading up here. McLeod backdoor, and Fogel just missed a tap in. Not the perfect pass from McLeod, but he missed that tap in right there, side of the net on the cross crease. 5:29 to go, second period here. This one's going to be fired down in the Oilers' end by the Blues. Stuart Skinner, to your saying, out there to try and play it, but the Oilers' defense walks him off. And then Ryan Murray with a spinorama at center ice to get the puck down deep into the Blues' end, allow the Oilers' forecheckers to set up and keep pressuring the Blues here. And Kane's going to backtrack in his own zone, fire it to the far boards in the neutral zone. Safe play as the Blues just dump it in deep. And this will allow the Oilers to come up with the puck in their own end as Darnell Nurse skates this one away. And I think, too, what I've noticed sort of Nurse this year is, I guess probably from just seeing him injured in the playoffs, how much easier Nurse is out there skating this year.
He's
Oh,
skating pretty decent. And,
sorry, I gotta interrupt you. That was not shot wide by Fogel. That was off the blocker hand of Jordan Binnington. That was a beauty of a save to rob Fogel of a goal. Sorry, I'm saying that Fogel couldn't finish that. You're kidding me. That's a beauty of a save.
yeah, it was a nice save. The puck was, to credit to, like you said, up on edge when McLeod passed it. Fogel couldn't get the best shot, but it was a nice save by Binghamton. And back to the whole Darnell Nurse, I think him, Draisaitl playing injured. We knew that Draisaitl couldn't do the power moves against Calgary after Anderson in LA.
Yep.
Is they know, okay, if this one way game's not working for me. I know I can play it this way now. And I think we've seen that with Draisaitl a lot this year now is he's slowing the game down for him. He's not being that big body he used to be. He's slowing down more and waiting for his teammates to catch up and find that grade A pass instead of that blind backhand pass across the ice.
And I think that's been a big part, right? And even in Darnell Nurse's game, simplifying, he couldn't bend down like he used to in the playoffs. Right? He wasn't able to be on his
Oh,
stomach, knees, whatever, and now all of a sudden you see that evolution kind of taking part in his game this year where he's standing up a little bit more, and both Draisaitl and Nurse, much more effective players to start the season. I mean, Nurse
yeah.
got, what, 5, 6 points to start the year?
Yeah, he has 3 goals now, I believe it is.
No, the goal was credited to Pugliarvi tonight,
Fully
so,
RB, yeah. So
I
he
mean,
still
still
has
an
two,
assist.
but exactly.
Wow, almost a wrist save there. Jordan Binnington since April 1st, 12-2-0 record, 228 goals against average, and a 927 save percentage, all while doing that with only one shutout. That's a pretty incredible clip right there for Jordan Binnington over the past 14 games, including who was that shutout?
The Edmonton Oilers on
The
Saturday
Oilers.
there.
Yeah, exactly. I had to take a second to think about that. And he's still sporting a 3.08 goals against average in his lifetime against the Oilers. So you think about how much that shutout helped that number. We should have been really feeling good going into Saturday, and we weren't. Here's Yamamoto carrying it across the center line. He's going to dump into the Oilers zone, or Oilers offensive zone, spill in. He's going to have Draisaitl there, met it, but couldn't keep it in at the line. 4:11 to go in the second period of play. And the Blues will turn it back into the Oilers' end. That one stopped there by Skinner. He has no clue where this puck is as it just dribbled in behind the net. 4:01 to go in the second period of play as the Blues have it at the blue line. It'll be shot fired, blocked in front off the shot of Tarasenko. Dreisaitl's got this puck. He's going to work it up the boards to Barrie. Barry's got an open lane to go up the boards as well. And it overhops Yamamoto, who keeps the force going forward. The 50-50 now at $298,000. Ay, ay, ay. That's a lot of money. And now Darnell Nurse turns it back around there to the boards. And this is, I believe, Nugent Hopkins meeting it there. And how about this? The Blues coming up with it. Another stick save by Stuart Skinner. And that is now 19 shots after only allowing 6 in the first period. The Oilers have allowed 13 and 19 on the game. Skinner has been, dare I say that word, so far through 2.
No, don't say it.
We'll just keep it going here. Skinner's been looking pretty good here early on in this one. Another beauty of a save there. Just gets the arm out and extended, makes the save. And I think I wrenched my shoulder a little bit. I got to stretch out. Something's wrong with my shoulder. Long day of house packs. That's going to do it to you. All right, 3:20 to go. 13-4 the shots for the Blues in this period. The Oilers bend not break so far in their own zone, and of course keeping it more or less to the outside, away from the high danger areas for the Blues so far in the offensive zone in the second period. Kulak battling there. He's got O'Reilly, shot, save, rebound, save by Skinner, kicking out a point blank on the doorstep rebound. And now here's Connor McDavid in full flight across the Blues' end. That's right on to Binnington. He just blocker gloves it away, whatever that is, and it's blocked there at the blue line by the Oilers, which will throw them offside. 2:50 to go in this second period. Man, second period of play almost done. I think we'll cut the stream after this one because I'm tired of watching a laggy stream, but to know that we can do this for future reference is pretty nifty.
Yeah, I'm watching it on my phone to see how it is, and it's actually not terrible at all.
Perfect. That's the big part we need to know. I'll watch back, kind of see what I notice, but I think other than the black screen once in a while when I switch tabs, we're doing all right. And realistically, I could have that on another tab somewhere else on the other screen, but I'm running dual screens. I'm running 2 cameras. My CPU usage over 40%, and my laptop, she is steaming. But 235 and another save for Stuart Skinner on Walker right there. And this second period going according to plan for the Oilers. Obviously, yeah, you're not getting the same pressure, but now you're getting the goaltending and defense. And that power play was still pretty good if it didn't even crack the net.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, okay, this internet's kind of messing up a little bit too on me tonight. First time that's happened all winter so far. Here we go, face off to the left to Skinner. The Oilers are going to turn it back, and Cody Cece's going to work this one here, and Oaten ahead into the neutral zone where the Oilers spill across the Blues blue line, and it'll be there by Devon Shore. Picked up. He's looking for an option here to figure out who he can pass to. He's got across the way Ryan Murray. Ryan Murray sees that puck blocked. And well, that's going to be worked back there by the Blues. And 2:13 to go in the second period. My suffering almost over. We're almost done with this leggy old stream here. As I'm just going to quickly read that back up. And here it is, back the other way. The Oilers will get it across the Blues blue line. There's Ryan McLeod. He's going to dump it off to Derek Ryan. Shot fired, saved by Binnington. But at this point, when you only have 4 shots on net in the second period, what do you like to see?
More shots on net. We started off slow with shots on net against Pittsburgh and came out in the second period that game. Outscored tied Pittsburgh in the amount of shots they had compared to the goals we scored. Third period, they just got to come out firing. Like Robert said, can Binnington actually stop 25 shots in one period? Probably not. You get one of those to go in, it's a 2-0 game. But we are literally watching the remake of Saturday's game.
Well, and a little bit more shots so far, as the Blues, I think, had 22 all night. Now they got 22 in the second period. But this one is where things could change on a dime. Evander Kane just took a slashing penalty right off the face-off in the Blues' end. $1:49 to go in the second period. So the Blues, hopefully, will be on the penalty kill the rest of the game. Or Blues will be on the power play, hopefully, the rest of this second period. That's what I was trying to say. I mean, spit it out, Tyson. That doesn't happen very often on this channel. But either way, Kane to the box, 2 for slashing. And now the Oilers penalty kill, who is 1 for 1 tonight, has to get another 2 for 2 in that column. And the Blues will win the faceoff right off the bat. It's Torrey Krug at the goal last time out. Here's the shot saved, bodied up by Skinner. And how good does that feel to see the first shot of the power play denied?
It feels great. Skinner, like I said at the start of this stream, he has gotten better. His positioning from his first 5 games to now is better. He's looking around the players a lot easier. And, Skinner's giving us a chance to win right now.
And now we'll have the face-off to the mentioned Skinner. And how about this? The Oilers will win it right off and take it out as Ryan McLeod will skate with it. And he's got 3 Blues confused in their own zone where he's going with it. He's going to chase in after Binnington and spill off. 20 seconds of this power play already for the Blues. We only have $1:26 to go in the second period. Here's an opportunity. Turned back into the Oilers zone. Shot fired. Saved by Skinner. Tarasenko is going to get it back to the blue line. Torrey Krug back the other way to the far side boards. It'll go near side to Tarasenko, who loads up, fired, saved by Skinner again. He's had 2 very good shoulder up saves here in this period, and the Oilers now trying to get a little chancy as Draisaitl trying to take this puck away, and he just batted that one too deep into the neutral zone on the Blues side of the ice. Now back the other way. Here's Tarasenko loading it up for the Blues. Krug shoots and saved, and then Kyrou gets dumped in front of the net as the Blues are cleared out of the crease by the Oilers. That's a big changing game for the Oilers if they can just clear out the creases, whether it be after the whistle or prior to the whistle, in front of Stuart Skinner and Jack Campbell. That's a big man pushing over a big man, Darnell Nurse on Jordan Kyrou, and that's a big time save by Stewie through a bunch of traffic, and Kyrou looking for that rebound.
Yeah, it is. Before we go off stream here too, we got to talk about one name that Robert has brought up. So after this period, we'll talk about that and
we can do
get
that.
on out of here.
As here's Zach Hyman and Derek Ryan. And Zach Hyman all kinds of tied up there with the Blues defenseman Torrey Krug. Almost had a crack on net. 35 seconds remaining in the period. Second period winding down. And the Blues across the blue line here. Second period now within 30 seconds to go. Blues have it in the Oilers' end. This one looking to go back to the blue line. Krug sees it hop off a skate. Down the ice it goes. It's all the way down to Binnington with 18 seconds to go. Binnington across to his D partner there. And it'll be up and out into the neutral zone where the Blues will cross the Oilers' line with 10 seconds to go. Ryan O'Reilly carries it across the Blues' far side. Shot coming. Save and scores. With 4.4 seconds to go, the puck takes a weird hop off of Stuart Skinner, and it's back of the net instantly.
It was just an unlucky bounce. Good hand-eye by Ryan O'Reilly on that play. It's one of those bounces that didn't go the Oilers' way.
And I just had to curse it there, saying, well, the Oilers hopefully are on the penalty kill the rest of this period. And with legitimately 4.4 seconds to go, it's finished up. And I think that might have been, who was that? Was that Torrey Krug finishing that goal, or was it Ryan O'Reilly? It was? Yeah, it was Ryan O'Reilly shooting it right into the side of Stuart Skinner and then back off him into the net. That's about as weird of a bounce as you can get, as Skinner just mangles himself into the net with 4.4 seconds on the clock. And that will be a 1-1 hockey game between the Blues and Oilers. Again, same, cursed it there. What do you want to do if you want to win in the third period and you're a third period team? Go into the third period with a lead. And with 3, 2, 1, we are up and done. And we'll get to Robert's question here, and then we will get this rolling. What do we got?
Well, he mentioned when we were talking about adding another D potentially, Carson Soucy. The Oilers were in on him at last deadline. We could tell by the clearance sale there were Carson Soucy jerseys already made that the Oilers were hoping to get him. It was a away jersey.
Yep.
And Carson Soucy has been linked to the Oilers for the last little while. He is a great shutdown guy. I don't see him being a top 4 defenseman, though. And our bottom pairing is already full of guys that can play that position.
And that's exactly the big part for the Oilers. They need that top 4 lefty. And I know, like, love or hate Brett Kulak, I don't know if it's asking too much to get what we got out of him last playoffs for a full year. And then again in the playoffs this year. I don't know if that's what we're going to get. So that's a good question, is who is going to be that guy? Obviously, the top name everyone loves to go to is Jacob Chychrun. But for the price, is Jacob Chychrun going to be that guy? Probably not. And
what about John Klingberg?
John Klingberg being the right-hand shot, though, is he not a very big upgrade over top of, say, Tyson Barrie? Is he not a better suited place to play 5v5 offense on that second D pair? That's, you got a lot. Or is John Klingberg a lefty shot?
I believe he was a lefty.
Okay.
We'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I'd have to look that up, but yeah.
Maybe the Oilers go back to the whole Montreal thing where you sign Klingberg, take half the salary.
Yep.
You know, if Edmonton can fleece Montreal into a 4-year deal for Klingberg and take half of the salary, Edmonton will be laughing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the big part is for the Oilers to figure out how to move the money around if they want to get him from the Anaheim Ducks this season. That's going to be the big question. Is obviously, yeah, you can probably get him at half retained and work on the 3.5. Do you send just Tyson Barrie back the other way? What you do there, I'm not really sure. But yeah, there's a ton of questions we can ask, and I think that's the fun part for us.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So that's to Robert's question there.
All right, I'm going to head on out. This has been Gillies TV and Dolynny TV linking up for the Oilers and Blues. Third period coming up, folks. This Dolynny TV